Alright, so out of all of the texts that we've touched, speaking about Michael the Archangel, this is one that gives persons the most difficulty. So in it says, but lo, Old English, behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. So let me backtrack. I had said in one of the videos before that Jesus is the only one that is referred to as a prince. What I should have said is that Jesus is referred is there. According to this passage, there are other angels or special angels, or at least Gabriel is referred to as a prince, but Christ is the head of them. So you have the different ranks in terms of angels, and the ones that are closest to God, the ones that are in God's presence, the one that veils his glory. It could be that those are referred to as princes because they have a special work. And we see a lot of places in the Bible where Gabriel does a special work. He's a special messenger. But out of all of them, Christ is the chief. Michael is the chief prince or the chief messenger. But what gives persons trouble is the part that says one of the chief princes. So as to say that Michael is just one of the chief princes. So he's just a regular angel, and he's just one of those chief princes. But number one, first thing to observe is that if Gabriel is the highest angel, right, in heaven, and he can't pass Lucifer. Lucifer withstands him or the devil withstands him for 21 days. Who is it that is more powerful than Gabriel and more powerful than Lucifer? If Gabriel is the highest in heaven, then it must be God. It must be somebody that has divine prerogatives, somebody that has divinity to basically do something that the highest angel in heaven cannot do, which is to how do you want to phrase it? Pass Lucifer or get around him or beat him or whatever. So that's just the first obvious observation. If you read that passage, if you read from verse 10 to verse 13, it says that Lucifer withstood Gabriel for 21 days. So just imagine somebody stopping you from going where you want to go or doing what you want to do for 21 days. And Michael had to come and help. So obviously, if that alone doesn't show you that this Michael is someone divine, this Michael is Jesus. And by the way, the word Michael actually means one that is like God. Alright, so let's get down into the Greek for those who would really like to seal things off and not just, probably just observe or suggest. So when you type in the word that it uses for one of the chief princes, the word one in verse 13, it says properly united, one, or as an ordinal first. I wanted to stick a pin at first. Alike, alone, altogether, and anything, a piece, a certain, daily, each, 11, every, few, first, highway, a man, once, one, only, other, some, together. That is the Strong's dictionary definition, the Strong's concordance definition of the Greek word ikad. That's the Greek word for one. That's the Greek word that is used for one in Daniel 10:13, ikad. And there are different ways in which that word is used, and I just listed them a while ago. So Bible usage, it can be used to mean one numerically, can use to mean each or every, can use to mean a certain, can be used to mean an indefinite article, only, once for all, one another, the one, the other, one after another, one by one. And this is 11 in combination, 11th or ordinal, like 1 and 1, and it can also be used to mean first. And out of all of these that I just listed, the Greek word ikad is primarily used to mean one, like just a literal number one. But the second, how do I phrase this now? The second meaning that it is, for example, it says that majority of the time when you see the word ikad in the Old Testament, it's speaking about numerical value one. The second most popular meaning, yeah, that's the phrase I wanted to find. The second most popular meaning for the word ikad is first, right? So if you should insert the word first instead of one in Daniel 10 verse 13, this is what it would read. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 120 days, meaning 21 days. But lo, Michael, first of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Now, why would Bible scholars use the meaning first in the place of one? The word ikad in the Greek. Because it would line up with everything that we just studied about Michael coming down to this point, being Michael being the archangel, the chief of angels, the head of the host of God, right? Jesus Christ himself, the archangel, the chief messenger. So here, even though it has the word one, meaning which is ikad in the Hebrew, rather not the Greek, the Hebrew, it can also be used to mean first. So Michael is the first of the chief princes, the head of the chief princes. So if we go down to the Greek, you recognize that this passage is not that difficult, right? And if you use that in that meaning for ikad first, it lines up with everything else that we just studied about Michael being the chief, the head, the first, the archangel, the chief prince, right? So that's basically sums it up. There's a passage that I also want to look on in closing, which is a very wonderful passage from so many angles. Not just speaking about Christ being referred to as an angel or what have you, but just the hope that it brings. I'm just going to look at that passage quickly. And that passage is found in Joshua 5, 14 and 15, and it says, and he said, let me read from 13. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, art thou for us or for our adversaries? Meaning, are you on our side or are you on the side of our enemies? Because you see this strange man with his sword drawn. And here's the man's response. And he said, nay, meaning no, but as captain of the host of the Lord am I now come. Captain of the host of the Lord. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, what saith my Lord unto his servants? And if you know your Bible, another video. I was hoping this was going to be the last video, but just make a quick